Hello everyone. In this lecture, let us have a look at the topic image manipulation. The first technique we're going to have a look at is called image resizing. So, our first step in all our Python notebooks in this course will start with the usual, which is import cv2 and then reading in and image. So img is equal to cv2 dot imread. Let's read in this time scenery underscore one dot png. So before we go ahead and do anything, let us first identify the shape of our image. So now I'm going to do print. Inside this, I'm going to type img dot shape. So this tells me that scenery underscore one dot png is a 495 cross 880 image and it has a 3 color format. So what is resizing? It is nothing but scaling an image. The scaling can be either scaling up or scaling down. This works on an interpolation method. Let us now see the code for resizing our image. So first what we have to do is let us create a variable called img underscore, let's say res. Okay, and this is going to be equal to cv2 dot resize. Now this function takes in a total of 5 arguments. The first argument is our image which we have read in. That variable is img for us. Next, it is followed by a resultant size. The resultant size for us is going to be none. So let us set it as none. Now the next 2 arguments is a scaling factor. This scaling factor is on the x-axis as well as the y-axis. So it is going to be fx comma fy. So now we have to assign some scaling factor, correct? So let's say in fx I want a scaling factor of 2. Similarly in fy also I want a scaling factor of 2. So now I have finished 4 arguments. We have the last argument pending. This argument is the interpolation method. So what are we going to be using as an interpolation method? The method we are going to be using is cv2 dot inter underscore linear. Okay, so now let us run the code to see if there's any errors. So there are no errors. Now there are 2 other interpolation methods, which is inter underscore cubic and inter underscore area. So before I ask you guys to try out these 2 methods, let us first see the resized shape of the image and let me display the original and the linear interpolation resized image. Okay, so now let us do print img underscore res dot shape. So let me just scroll up so you guys can see the original image shape and the resized image shape. So as you can see, in both the height and the width, which is nothing but x and y, the axis is in x and y direction, that is, we can see it has been doubled, just as we have mentioned in the scaling factor, and the color format will obviously remain the same. So now let us go ahead and write the code for displaying our image. So as there are 2 images, I'm going to be doing cv2 dot imshow original image. The variable is img. Similarly cv2 dot imshow. So let the window name be resized image and the variable name for this is img underscore res. So as usual, instead of using the if, we'll be using the two simple lines, cv2 dot wait key 0 and cv2 dot destroy all windows. So let's run this and see our output. So as the resized image is as big as my screen, I have placed the original image on top of the resized image for us to be able to see the difference in the size. So as you can see, we have now resized the image to twice the size of the original image. So now that we have had a look at the linear interpolation, all you guys have to do is change cv2.inter underscore linear with cv2.inter underscore cubic or cv2.inter underscore area and see the different outputs. But there is another method for us to resize an image. This time we will be using cv2.resize similar to the function we used above. But this time what we will do is, so now that I've written the function, as usual, the first argument is going to be our source image. But the difference over here is we simply will be giving the value of our resized image. So let's say from the value of it being 495, 880, I want the image to be resized to, let's say, 720, 720. Now let us go ahead and write the code for displaying our two images. So as you can see, I have written the code. So now let us execute it and see a new resized image. So as you can see, I have now resized my image to the dimension or the size which I want. So from the original size, I have now resized it to 720, 720. So now that we have had a look at the image manipulation resize operation, why don't you guys go ahead, like I said, try the two interpolation methods, which is inter underscore cubic and inter underscore area, and go ahead and try resizing using the second method. Thank you guys. Let's meet in the next lecture.